everyone, it's me, Krista. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, welcome for the very first time to my little art corner here on YouTube. As you could probably tell from the title, today we are going to be doing the Inktober prompt number 2, which is Mindless. Which is me most days, honestly. Unfortunately, I was not able to tape the entire sketching process or the entire painting process. My camera randomly decided that it wanted to overheat and stop recording at certain points. So there will be a couple of jump cuts throughout this. For the most part, I think you can tell what's going on, either way. I started the sketch like I normally do by figuring out the midline of the paper, throwing in some shapes, and figuring out exactly where I wanted to put that there face. I also just used my cheap Bic mechanical pencil to get a rough little sketch going, figure out where the movement is, the placement, and a couple of the shadows. Next, I threw in a dark black wash for the background, which for this one I definitely had to do because there is a slight little water stain on the paper that I knew needed to be covered up because I was still going to use that there paper. It's going to happen. There is one difference in supplies between the first Inktober drawing I did and this one. For this one, I pulled in a white Posca pen. It was recommended on the prompt list on the official Inktober site, so I figured, hey, we can use this. Why not? These things have been super popular online lately, it seems. They don't really work that differently than any other white pen I've ever used. They're just very trendy right now. They're like Hans. They're so hot right now. Hey, look at that! We talked about part of the process of what we're doing right now. I didn't talk about the inspiration yet. I know y'all really probably don't want to hear it, but I don't care. I'm gonna say it anyway. The prompt for the second day was Mindless. And immediately this idea came into my mindless mind. Super stereotypical, super basic sci-fi. Reliance on technology, blah blah blah, how it's all making us dumber, blah 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 blah. Decided to do some static eyes on a face and then do a plug into the face. Specifically a USB cord is the reference that I used. The reference for the face was my own. I tried to get a really dumb vacant expression on my face. It doesn't look like me in the end completely. I did try to make it a little grosser, a little more drained looking, a little stupider. Although I am pretty stupid, so that would be, Maybe it is an accurate representation of what I look like. Huh. For this piece, I once again used the Strathmore Tone Blue mixed media paper. I wanted to use a paper with a tone again, so that I could use that as my midtone and then add the black ink or the white ink as I felt was necessary. It saves a lot of work, makes it a lot easier, and for these moody kind of pieces that I did yesterday and today, it adds a little bit more emotion. It helps the aesthetic. It's aesthetically pleasing to me, and probably only me. Still playing with that same water brush. Love it. For this one, I did want to make the tones a little more subtle than the previous one. The previous one, I used a lot of really stark black against stark white. This one, I wanted to use a lot of similar mid-tony colors, not so much pure white against pure black, reducing the contrast just a little bit. I wanted a more painterly effect for this one. I wanted it to look like water media had been used. And I started the opposite way of the other one. With the other one, I started with whites and then did the blacks. This time I did blacks before the white. I don't really have a set process for what I do first with tones. Everyone's different. Some people have to have a very regimented style for what they do in their process, and everything has to be very step by step. I am definitely not that kind of person. I just kind of go with the flow, the ink flow, if you will. The most important elements to me for this piece was those eyes. I did go in immediately with that Posca pen to white them out because I wanted to do a staticky effect. I wasn't sure how well it was going to work. My backup plan was to use a blue marker just in the eye area to give that blue screen of death appeal. That could have worked as well. For some reason, I really wanted the eyes to be staticky. It was necessary for the idea for this specific piece. One thing I have noticed that I do differently than quite a few artists who use watercolor or ink, they will do their outline in black marker before they start adding tones or color to it. I like working the opposite way. I like it being super loose and then defining as I go. For me, I kind of need to work that way. I need that extra freedom to place things and move them around as I see fit while I'm working on the piece. I don't like having something that's very cemented, like outline-wise, or even sometimes idea-wise. I like to adjust as I go. It's just how I work. That could be left over from learning charcoal and pastel first, because with those mediums, especially when you're learning, it's super easy to adjust and move around and figure out what's going on. It's also possible that I'm just terrified of commitment, and that includes ideas or drawings, possibly. For the eyes, I went in with that black marker and stippled to get the effect, and then I went over it with a white gel pen to make it look a little bit more like static. I actually really enjoy the effect it gives this drawing. It makes the eyes look significantly bulgier, and I like how uneven the face looks with the cord and everything. I think it works in this scenario. I also drew little black veiny things by that cord too. Like it's sucking the life out of ya. And your brains. Who needs brains anyway? I didn't want the face to be too pretty. I wanted there to be kind of an ugliness to it. And you can't see this, but when I said ugliness, I did like the quotation mark gesture while saying it. Using explicit asymmetry is a great way to get that kind of effect going as well. Adding the heavy shading, the dark shading, emphasizing lines, putting those deep dark circles under the eyes, and then having there be no emotion really in the eyes. I mean, they're just static. How can static have an emotion? It all adds to this kind of horror, dark sci-fi idea. Also, having the eyes uneven and kind of bulgy gives the face an almost insect quality, which would be uncomfortable for the viewer. I read somewhere a really long time ago that a lot of monster designs use insect-like features because it's so opposite of what we consider to be human. It's so opposite of a mammal that it makes us uncomfortable. It's an easy way to make a monster look scarier, because we subconsciously can't handle it to an extent. Hey, look there! That's the finished drawing! Cool. So this video is pretty much done. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, feelings, or concerns, let me know in that comment section down below. If you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. Hopefully I will be hearing from you guys soon. Bye!